Okay, so now we've established our shapes, most of our color, haven't gotten into the details yet, right? So I'm going to now work on the background, right? And the background is blue, okay? And we're going to, again, try to work as soft as possible, right? I'm going to use my medium to large brush, right? We're always going to work from light to dark, right? And I'm going to use a lot of water because I want it to be soft in its application, right? So, and I'm going to bring it right to the edge of my objects, right? And my first layer is going to, like I said, it's going to be soft, thin. Some of that's going to bleed out, as you can see. That's fine, okay? And you can also stop the bleeding if you want by doing that. Okay. 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 Right, we're going to coax it around all these objects. And the blue color is going to recede, meaning it's cool and it falls away, it falls back, it creates for almost like as if all these objects were like floating in the air. And there's no need to try to make it smooth. You want to have a character to it, right? Some places lighter, darker, right? So I'm just coaxing it around in between. And like I said, try not to leave any of the white areas around the objects. Right, so you want to bring it right up against the color. And you can even overlap it a little if needed. Nice and thin. Right. By the time I get to the other side, I'm gonna be able to put a second coat over this and give it some character. Model it a little bit, make it uneven. You don't want it to be even. You want it to play. You know. You want it to be alive, kind of. Right, so I'm going around the object. A little deeper blue there. And blue is the complement to a lot of these colors, right? The oranges and so forth. And as I work it, I'm not going over the stem part, right? I'm sort of defining it from the outside. Right? Do I need to get that phone? Okay, so we continue to work the color into the background between the objects. You see how nicely that blue color sets off the bright colors. I'm not worried about making it even. You just want to have a nice, airy feel to it, as if it's the sky and clouds behind the objects. And the blue color is a cool color, so it recedes to the background in relationship to these warmer colors, right? So it enhances the contrast between the foliage and the background. Okay. Let's see how I'm painting in between these shapes. A little tedious, but it's definitely worth the work, because it's going to be beautiful in the end. You can have a beautiful painting. All right, so we're working through this. Okay, I'm working between everything, isolating the color, contrasting it with the blue. Nice. Okay, here's where the fun part comes with these pussy willows. So I got to kind of imagine, you know, because the white pussy willow is quite bright. So I'm going to go around the white, give it a shape. Hang on. Okay. Okay, nice. See how those, I'm going around the shapes of the pussy willows and creating that white pussy willow, right? Okay, beautiful. It's really starting to take shape. This whole painting, right? So I'm integrating the blue. Right, so now I'm starting to finish up the blue background. And then I'm going to get into the details of this whole thing. And that's going to be using some denser color, looking more at the details of the subject matter. Okay. All right. Now I can just touch in some deeper values of this blue into the background. You know, just to give it a little more character, right? Maybe through here. Just create some deeper spots. Okay. Maybe down in here. All right, but we can always come back to deepening some of these spots. You know, it's in the background, so it's beautiful. I love the arrangement, right? Everything is good, right? We're gonna, like I said, I'm just hitting some of these spots a little deeper. Okay. Maybe even sort of smoothing things out a little bit if you want, but not necessary. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to take the time to clean up my palette a little bit, and then I'm going to get my fine brush, and we're going to. And so remember, the interesting part here is that we have, you know, we're doing this whole painting using a limited palette approach, right? The primary colors. Yellow, blue, red, and then I have that Payne's gray just in case I want to deepen some of my, you know, my values, right? So what I want to do here now is to maybe start with developing some of the structural aspects of the oak leaf, for example, right? So I'm going to mix up like a pretty dense kind of a brown. So that's blue, red, yellow, right? And the oak leaf has these connections, right? It's got these leaf stems that are very, very strong. The vein structure. Okay, let's take a look at our reference, right? Okay, and so I'm drawing these parts, the vein structure and so forth, right? So I'm going to keep that reference nearby, right? And I'm going to draw it in there. Okay. I'm going to draw in some of the detail on the acorn. Right, it's connected by a very strong stem. Okay. And you can change the value of this as, you know, as need be. Okay. That'll dry back nice and dark. And see how that detail, that sharp detail next to the soft transitions of color and stuff creates for that natural look, right? You see how those stems juxtaposed on the soft leaf itself, on the leafy structure. So now I'm going to change the hue to more on the red side, right? More on the red on this one. Okay, and so I'm going to draw a nice, beautiful line there like that. And I'm looking at the leaf, the structure of this. And these veins kind of come out of the... right? So the sharpness of that structure is important, right? And I can lay down a little shadow area there, right? Soften it. Okay. Right, so now I can go back into that red color. Okay. Yeah, those. The detail, right? I'm looking at these colors here, the highlights, the colors, right? Okay. All right, so now I can further detail this little piece of branch and the little caps on the. There's a bit of like a texture there. Right, and I'm not just inventing that. If you look at, there's that texture. I'm sort of imitating it, right? And then the stem itself. A little branch. It's got like a barky texture to it. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we're getting into all these sort of achromatic colors, right? Adding the sharp lines to it, right? The detail. Soften that a little bit. I'd like to pick up more of a greener hue to that. Okay, there we go. Right. Add some of that detail. Okay. Right, so we can continue with some of this detail. I'm going to continue with creating those veins on the leaves. All right. Starting with this maple leaf here, and I'm going to go with the red again. Nice. Let's expand that value a little bit. Kind of gives the leaf a little dimension, as if the sun is hitting that side a little more. Okay. Okay. And then we have like an elm leaf here, which has got a very strong structure, very regular structure. Right. And we're going to give it a dark red hue to the veins. Actually, it can be a little bit more neutral. Or brown. And laying down these contrasty lines makes the leaf seem transparent, doesn't it? As if the light's going through the leaf. It makes for a beautiful effect. All right, I can just enhance that edge, that serrated edge a little bit. Nice, creates for transparency. So I'm going to handle it similarly here. Maybe give it a little stronger edge there. Nice. Similar here, some detail. Okay. All right. Now let's try for some of the, actually we're not finished here. We can go for this structure here on this one. Right. So the soft, right, handling of that color, and then the sharp lines creates for that contrast, you know, that, and it almost looks like there's light coming through it now. picking up a slightly different hue. Oops. Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay. This is sort of the fall section. Here we have the spring section and a little bit of the summer section. Okay. So let's address some of these green values. So blue, right, and yellow. We're going to make for a deep, deep green, right? And we're going to start adding some of the detail, right? These leaves are definitely have a serrated edge to them, right? And I like to leave some sides, you know, like leave it lighter than the other side, sort of a dark and light side. Right, and then leave a light edge down the middle as if that's the vein. Okay. You can almost add some detail like that, right? So it's combinations of values, right? Changing it up always. Those deeper values, right? The contrasts. Okay. And I know the stem is kind of red on the hydrangea as it gets down here. Brownish, reddish. Perfect. Right? And then we can move on to the yellow again, right? So we can add to different values of yellow, a deeper yellow. And you make a deeper yellow by adding the violet in there. Okay, nice. Right, then I'm going to use a very light green. on the edge of the tulip stem, just to give it a little definition. Maybe it's on the shadow side of the light. Increase the value there, maybe. Soften it. Okay, nice. All right. Same kind of thing over here with the apple tree. So the apple tree, the apple blossom, the leaves have a bluer hue to it. Again, I'm gonna pretty deep and contrasty with my color on this particular. And this sort of fern-like branch over here. Also gonna hit it pretty contrasty. Okay. Take a slightly larger brush, pick up some of this bright green for tulip leaf, and I'm going to give it a coat right over the top without getting too fussy, just to give it a nice impact. Okay. Right, now I can just play with some of my bright reds. Tulip type of thing. Nice. Dark some lights in here with the nice. Right, just touching in the color. It's a feel. little accents. Okay. And then I can pick up some of the violet, which is the blue with some red, right? And use it in a dense manner, okay? And I'm gonna go around around the lilac. Okay. It's the texture I'm going for, you know, not necessarily for an exact depiction, but it's the texture, the feel of it, right? The pattern of color. Right, so I'm putting some blue in there, into the red. And it creates that violet, the lilac color. And the violet, the lilac, the head is just like a series of little blossoms, so I'm making the round shapes. Very good. It's usually denser, darker at the top. Nice, right? And the leaves on the, ooh, I just saw something. I'm not going to switch to green yet, but we're going to go over here and sort of give it some definition using the blue violet. A little more reddish. Right. I could take a more solid blue. Just accent it a little bit. A little contrast here and there. Nice. Okay. And I was going to go to the darker greens. Right? Darker greens. Where was I? Go. See how these darker greens support the brighter colors. All right. Okay. All right. And now we can move on to the some of the detail, more detail, right? So these blossoms are all attached, right? So there would be some thin stems there, right? I can add some of this violet on the shadow sides of all these guys. right, to give it a little shadow edge to it. The underside. Kind of filling in things a little bit so there's not this white jumping out at us. Okay, nice. Okay. Right, now we can go in and deepen the dandelion. Everybody's seen the dandelions. Dandelion has sort of an orangey. Okay, now we can add some structure to the dandelion leaves. Right, and they have a strong vein right down the middle. Right. Right. Painting in some of the detail, the characteristics of the leaves of the dandelion. Right, so you got to look closely at your subject and okay. Dandelion leaves. very good. Starting to get there. Right? And we can paint in these red leaves. Okay. Okay, right? And now we can just do some like shadowing type of thing. All right, so let's put a shadow side on this. Little shadow there. We can use some violet to knock back some of these yellows. Make that nice brown. And I'm just ever so slightly putting a layer of that violet over the yellow, and it's creating this gray. So if there's a light side and a dark side to the leaf. There you go. Nice. Use a little green over the top of that to make these reds darker on the shadow side. See that? Create a shadow side on this leaf. All right. Use that violet over the yellow. Okay. And so here we have nice composition with the foliage, right? We have our colors distributed nicely. We have some of these fall colors. We have the spring colors, right? And okay. Nice distribution, and we have the blue color falling into the background and supporting our image, right? We used references, right, for the fall things and some of the color schemes, right? We have our collection here. You know, that you should do. You should go out and collect and paint from life, right? Okay, and so here you go. And I can, you know, I can continue to work in some of my ideas on this, you know. Make that nice and red, like a maple leaf red. Okay, I go in and underscore some of these details. Nice solid stem there. So these details, you know, are worked into the painting slowly, right? The browns usually appearing on the stems. Okay, and there we go.